is his name. Plus the 9 he bought to survive in the asphalt. Jungle story. Man, burn O'Glory.
At this time, 88, 89, 90, when you would have been working on the album or getting with Ruthless officially and all that, like there was no, at least I didn't get the impression, and from most people I've talked to, even at that point, there was still no thought of like this could really be your life or your career as an artist.
Yeah. You know, nah, man, it was to like be in the company of like our influences and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, as I said, man, if like Chuck D thought that I was dope, that's better than a Grammy for me.
Right.
In those days, you know?
Okay.
Like that was the goal. Like the goal was not to like, oh man, you know what? Maybe we could sell 500,000 units. Man, we didn't care about that shit. What we cared about was if KRS-One and Chuck thought we was dope. I really believe that.
Okay. Now, what creatively had changed for you from It's My Turn going into writing Are You Experienced? Because most of the songs on Are You Experienced have very specific, quote unquote, heavy, serious topic subject matter. So what had changed for you as a person to go from braggadocio to really speaking on things?
I was older. You know, I was writing Are You Experienced, and I was like 20 versus when I did It's My Turn, I was like 17. You know what I'm saying? So, and as we talked earlier before this all started, heavily influenced by Fear of a Black Planet. So, you know, just to have that kind of content matter and KRS-One with Why Is That? You know, just songs like that really, really spoke to me. So, you know, I'm going to emulate my idols. So if this is how they coming, then that's how I'm coming.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the first song and video I saw from Yomo Maulkie was Mama Don't. Was that I think that, now remember, like everybody else, I saw these in 91, but it was Mama Don't, Mockingbird, and Glory. So with the videos, I believe...
What's the order?
I believe Mama Don't was the first one I saw.
Okay, but that wasn't the first video.
So what was the first video?
Glory.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
that one, the main premise is burning the American flag.
American flag, right.
So with that being said, what made that something you guys were like, man, let's write a song about burning the American flag?
Because that's something Public Enemy would do. It's really that simple. That's something Public Enemy would do, man. Like, I think, I got to tell you, I think that, like, take the Straight Outta Compton album. Man, that's really a Public Enemy record. If you listen to, like, how militant the beats are, like the song Straight Outta Compton, man, that's a Public Enemy song.
Well, sonically, it's constructed very similarly.
That's what I mean, sonically. Yeah.
With the overlaps and the layers.
Yeah.
And having 74 samples on one song.
Oh, yes, exactly. So I think that's probably where we were coming from, man, with Glory. It was something Public Enemy would do, man. It was like highly political. It was like, you know, Black people shouldn't go to the military and, you know, just all that stuff there.
Yeah.
These are the musings of a 20-year-old, you know.
Yes, there's a lot of that. And you also talked about, as Public Enemy would have, the turning the other cheek is weak. So with that, obviously at this time in the rap world, I would say Malcolm X, the reverence of Malcolm X, I'd say was probably at its peak or around its peak.
Yeah, I would have to say so.
So for you, turn the other cheek is weak is obviously a clever line, but on top of that, what made you think of that mentality at the time?
Public Enemy.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy.
It was that much of an influence. I see.
Yeah, man. I was highly influenced by Public Enemy.
Okay.
Really. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Well, I do think it's so interesting, the sense that later we get the unfortunate mythological East Coast West Coast beef, because so much of both coasts took so much from each other. It was just astonishing that in my opinion, the rap media fanned the flame, and then the national media piggybacked off of that. But it was really individual.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Give me an example of where, like, are you talking about like now or back during the supposed beef? Where did the West Coast influence the East Coast?
Basically by the way dress, sound, style, lyrics.
Really?
Yes.
Like, huh?
Absolutely. For instance, this is a little bit of a later example, but how many lowriders did you see on East Coast videos from East Coast artists after the West Coast made that prominent? And the answer would be every single one you ever saw.
Pretty much. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I guess visually, because I was thinking more so like, because
no, lyrically,
the way they influenced us was, I think, way more like lyrically and like
so
the concepts and stuff like that.
Let me ask you a question. What was the first meaning of Cool G Rap? What did the G stand for?
I don't know.
Genius. And then what did it become later?
Yes. Gangster.
Exactly. That's kind of a big influence.
That is a big influence. I guess you're right. You know what? I never looked at it like that, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
It totally. Nobody until Ruthless and N.W.A, nobody from non-West Coast was wearing Raiders gear in their videos, and then Cool G Rap was wearing Raiders gear, and all these dudes. It was an immense.
I guess you're right about that. I forgot about that.
Ironically, other than Chuck D, who was, but he wore Pittsburgh. He was wearing all kinds of stuff that didn't represent New York. He wore a lot of Phillies. He was obviously a sports fanatic, so he gets an asterisk. But no, everybody was influenced by the West Coast after that happened, man. 100%. And it's very easy to see. Remember Ja Rule's Holla Holla video?
Oh, yeah, when he run it and that Lolo bouncing like that. That's true. So see, Soren, I'm thinking like in those days though, like let
me ask you this though.
Before Easy does it, man, like
but look at the influence of, I always think of this. If you look at the influence of Bobcat on Bigger and Deffer, the scratching on that album is way faster, fiercer. That's more of a West Coast style.
That's more of a West Coast thing. Yeah. And you know what? I think West Coast DJs, as far as scratching is concerned, was always better than East Coast DJs.
So to build on your point right there, that's a huge influence, because then the scratching, I don't want to say it changed because of Bobcat, but you notice after Bigger and Deffer, the scratches tended to get a little faster. And I don't think that's a coincidence. And they were more like they are on that album, on most East Coast albums, because of what Bobcat did.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right. No, I agree with you.
There's tons. It's tons and tons. So anyway, that could be a whole discussion we could have on that. But
wait, you think that like you think Biggie might have been influenced by King T?
That one I've always been a little suspicious of, even though people say it. I'm not as sure on that one.
Yeah, me neither.
But you know, when you look at a beat like Big Papa, that's clearly a West Coast influence sound.
Oh yeah.
And lyrically, I mean, speaking of Biggie though, look at Things Done Changed. He's sampling Dr. Dre. I mean, it's like it's too the influence from the West Coast to
It's
going,
pretty clear.
it's immense.
Yeah.
It's immense.
Yeah.
Before, you know, ironically, of course, gangster rap started on the East Coast with Schoolie D.
Right.
But the West Coast made it what it was known nationally, because in '86, Schoolie D was rapping about his gang and saying the corner he was from and talking about Parkside, my place and home, the PSK gangsters like to roam, cheaper in our hand, 32 in our socks, protecting our turf like it was Fort Knox. That's pretty gang banging.
That's
right
pretty
there.
gangster. And you know what? I think the only thing that made why does to the West Coast, why does to the world the West Coast seem the most gangster is because we was the first to curse.
No, Schoolie did it first too. But the point is, the Schoolie and I have had many talks about this over the years.
Okay.
Schoolie, you have to remember, he didn't have any videos. He was
right.
Before Ruthless, he had Schoolie D Records. He was the first artist with his own label. He didn't have videos. He was doing it independent. And then when he got to Jive, he still didn't do any videos for till '88. So Eazy and them came out right away with videos. And remember on the radio single by Eazy-E, he wasn't dressed like how we know Eazy-E to be dressed. He was
that's right. He had on like them Jordans.
Yeah.
And like he was dressed like a
drug dealer.
Like a drug dealer, like a dope dealer. That's what we called him in those days. He was dressed like a dope dealer. It's true.
And then with Eazy Does It, everybody's wearing all black and the Raiders and all that.
Right, right.
And that's also something I learned later, that many artists told me that they didn't wear colors because they wanted fans of all the different sets to be with them. And if they knew they were Crip or from a Crip neighborhood and they were wearing blue, when they couldn't go to the Blood neighborhood, or the Blood neighborhood definitely wouldn't support them. Right. So anyway, I say all that to say the power of the West Coast in every facet of everything is way, way, way significant, underappreciated, and under acknowledged. So
right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, you know, there's so many examples I could cite, but I gave you a few.
Yeah.
Anyway, with Glory though, the other thing about it, I thought it was interesting with the video, because a lot of your videos were black and white, and you guys were kind of obscured, or you weren't like.
Well, no, I think just Glory was black and white. Mockingbird and Mama Don't, those are all in color.
Mockingbird has some black and white though.
That's right. In the beginning, when I'm on that fire escape up there, that's right. You're right. Damn, Soren, you are a hip hop historian, man.
I love this. I love this.
Yeah, man.
It's my favorite thing in the world. But
yeah, you definitely got to talk about homie D-Mac, man, when you get a chance, because he's like this too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say it was interesting, because in the videos it was black and white, but then the other thing I remember too was the dancing skeletons you had in Glory. What was that supposed to symbolize?
I don't know. I didn't. I don't know. I don't know. Apparently death. Soren, I really don't know, man. Okay. I really don't know.
All right. Now, this being said, with Glory being, quote unquote, a racy subject matter, or burning the American flag, obviously Ruthless and Eazy-E were champions of freedom of speech. So I've heard different things over the years, but in your experience, did he ever encourage you guys to push things further, or was he like, just do what you do? And
it was just man, y'all do what y'all want to do, I'm gonna put it out. Eric was not very hands-on with us. He just paid for it.
That's that's hands on though.
Well, I mean, like, creatively. Yeah, like Eric was not in the studio and like, trying to quarterback it, if you will.
Okay. And how do you think for you how was that good for you? How was that bad for you, would you say?
I think it was good. I don't think that like the record would have been any better if he was there quarterbacking it.
Well, the one thing though I did notice, and I remember this because by 91 I had obviously read a lot of liner notes and gotten a lot of credits and understood a lot of things better than I did before 91. But
right.
I was surprised that you guys didn't have any, other than Yella, you didn't have any like D.O.C on the album or MC Ren doing a verse. Why did you guys not have any Ruthless collaborations on there?
Man, I don't think that was a thing. I don't think that was kind of the thing to do in those days, to be quite honest with you.
No, remember they had the last song in the grand finale and D.O.C's on parental discretion's advised.
Yeah, but like for our record, like that was just not a thing over there. Like we was just gonna do our own thing. We wasn't gonna have no features. Nobody was trying to push that, if you will. We was just gonna make this crazy ass record and see what happens.
Okay, fair enough. And then on the singles with Mockingbird and Mama Don't, I thought it was intriguing and strange that Watch Out Black Folks was on the B-side of both of those. So do you remember why that was released twice?
I think they was really, I think secretly they were really trying to push that record. Like, I think if things would have went better, that probably would have been the next single.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that was like just like subliminal like push.
Yeah. And that one has the same sample used in a very similar way to Just Ice Going Way Back. So what and of course, even in 91, people had been using the same samples in the same way so many times. Did you guys feel any pressure, any concern, or any worry that Just Ice had already used it?
No, because we was dope, man. And like at that point, Just Ice was a little, his expiration date was coming up. Gotcha. So it wasn't like we used something that O'Shea had just used, or Ice Cube, I should say, on America's Most Wanted.
Okay. Fair enough.
That would have been like, whoa. Now we jacking for beats, right? Okay.
On Watch Out Black Folks, though, I think has my favorite line of yours on the whole album. The brought the clack to the black, kill the black, still got the money back. Yeah. Man, that line I thought was phenomenal. Do you remember how you came up with that or what made you say that?
Man, I was just in the zone, man. I was in the zone. I like when in those days, I get to a point as I'm writing and it'll just happen. I'll just be in the zone and like shit just start flowing. Like, in glory, 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 how I screw you instead of hallelujah. Bruh, that was organic. I didn't think about that. It just kind of happened. So I think that line, how that sound,
with the brought the crack
to the black, to kill the black, and still made his money back. Yeah, I was just in the zone.
Yeah, that's a
hell of a line. You're right about that.
That is phenomenal. And then later in that same song, Watch Out Black Folks, you also had the Paper Thin beat by MC Lyte, which I was like, man, they're combining all these.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Dude, yep.
Which I loved because that's one of my favorite MC Lyte songs.
And I want you to listen real close to me. I'm gonna ask you some real simple questions, and I want some real simple answers. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You said that you couldn't have possibly been at the crime scene at 11:15 because you were in the bookstore buying my audio book and my hardcover book at 11:15 when the crime scene occurred in Soren's book.
The history of gangster rap.
So you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying the books.
Right. At 11:15, I was at the bookstore at 11:15, and when I bought the books and accidentally left them at the store.
So at 11:15, you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying books, right?
At 11:15, when I was leaving, it was some people coming in, and I forgot to grab
But you don't remember who
what they look
people,
like.
what they look like or nothing, right?
No.
So, at 12:15, you in the bookstore buying my audio book and hardcover book and Soren's book at 12:15. So you couldn't have been at the scene because you were buying the books, right?
Yeah. At 12, exactly. At 12:15, exactly. I was at the bookstore.
Now you see. You know you done fucked up.
Which you
No,
mean?
first you said you were at the bookstore at 11:15, and then you said it was 12:15. You know you done fucked up, right?
He fucked up.
Yeah, he fucked up.
You fucked up.
Man, you confusing me, man.
So, you get my book, my audio book, 40 years, and Soren's book, History of Gangster Rap, and if you don't, you know you done fucked up, right?
Man, the more those cops ask me questions, the more I wish I bought them motherfucking books.